What is going on, everybody? My name is Kneeckoh and welcome back to another Pokemon Scarlet and Violet VGC Series 3 video. Today, we are going to be talking about a Pokemon that I think stocks will definitely rise going into VGC Series 3 Regulation C, whatever. This Pokemon is SCIZOR. I think this Pokemon is incredibly good, especially paired next to something like a Chen-Pao or things of that nature. I definitely think SCIZOR is a Pokemon that has a lot of potential to be a huge threat, especially looking at its typing going into this particular format. But if this is your first time here on the channel, make sure you are subbed for more videos like this in the future. Let's get into it. So SCIZOR is a Pokemon, like I said, that I think stocks go up dramatically because it plays so well into so many Pokemon that are very prevalent right now. This Pokemon, I think, pairs very nice next to Chen Pao, like I said, because of the defense drops and things of that nature, but it also could just be a very nice kind of supportive setup Pokemon because it has so many resistances, right? Your only big threat are Arcanine and Chiu. Those are the things you really have to worry about with this particular Pokemon, other than that in like Torkel, if Torkel pops up. But other than that, you don't have to worry too much about this Pokemon taking big hits. I think it's just a really solid bring. So I have two sets here. There are definitely other sets, like Assault Vest SCIZOR is very good as well, but two sets here that I really want to focus on in particular. First up, I have this Bullet Punch, Close Combat, Swords Dance, and Helping Hand set. I think this set is really fun, especially if you're running like a normal Terra type Dragonite. Being able to Helping Hand the Dragonite and Extreme Speed for huge damage is so beneficial. I think that this is just a really strong Pokemon all around. Plus the Clear Amulet's nice in case, you know, you do get intimidated, rotated in. You're seeing like Arcanine, even Gyarados is seeing a lot of use right now. So I definitely think that Clear Amulet is very good for this particular Pokemon to just avoid that extra damage. And then if you do encounter a Fire type, Water Terra type is fantastic. The EV spread that I have on this is 204, 4 attack, 68 defense, and 232 special defense with a adamant nature. The main objective here is to just kind of set up if the Pokemon does not necessarily pressure you. You could set up with Swords Dance and then just go for like priority bullet punches and do huge damage with Technician. Or alternatively, if you have something on the field that you think can do more damage or is faster, has a priority, whatever, Palafin, Dragonite, whatever the case may be, you can Helping Hand and then do a bunch more damage. So I think this is a really fun alternative set that you could use for SCIZOR. The second set is just a little bit more basic. It's a little more fundamental in what SCIZOR actually does. We're keeping the Clear Amulet, we're keeping the Water Terra type, and we're keeping the ability Technician. However, we're swapping out the Helping Hand for U-Turn. U-Turn is actually really solid in this particular format. If you consider the fact that Ting-Lu doesn't take a U-turn very well unless it Terras, and Wo-Chien absolutely does not take a U-turn very well. So both of those are very good into this particular format. And I think it's a very fantastic option. The EV spread on this one is 76 HP, 132 attack, 68 defense, and 232 special defense. And again, I have this more defensive for the special defense because it's just more beneficial for SCIZOR. However, if you consider the fact that I dropped a lot of HP for more attack, this one's going to be more about getting in, doing damage, and getting out. So I do really like this set as well. Obviously, you can do more speed investment if you're looking to outspeed certain matchups, but this is just what I threw on for the sake of the video. Now, if we consider why SCIZOR is so good, let's first take a look at the majority of these new Pokemon. Even Chiu, honestly, we can throw on this list and just talk about. So we have Chen Pao. We have Wo-Chien. There we go. There they are. So first and foremost, Close Combat rocks this thing. U-Turn rocks this thing, right? If it Terras and you're running this set and you have Swords Dance, and I mean, you could even work Swords Dance onto this particular set if you wanted to. If you Swords Dance up and it does Terra, you could just Bullet Punch it over and over and do big damage. So it's really nice for that matchup. If you look at Chiu with a Water Terra, you're able to just go in and Close Combat this thing and have no issue whatsoever. And if it does go for a Terra into like Ghost, which is very popular on Chiu, you can just Bullet Punch it next turn. And this Pokemon just really doesn't do a whole lot against you. Chen Pao hates bullet punches, so it doesn't matter even if it Terras into Ghost, which is its favorite Terra typing. You could still just bullet punch it, and this thing does not take hits all that well. It's mainly running Focus Sash. You can do pretty big chip damage with a bullet punch from this Pokemon and do significant work against Chien-Pao, which I think is super nice. Wo-Chien is what this thing loves to gobble up. It just eats it for breakfast. It's so delicious to SCIZOR, right? This typing just doesn't do very well into SCIZOR at all. You turn into it and it just takes huge damage. Its favorite Terra typing right now happens to be Fairy, which means your bullet punches are going to do even more as well. So I definitely think SCIZOR is a huge fantastic option into Wo-Chien right now. Other Pokemon that this Pokemon's going to be great into are going to be things like Fluttermain. Obviously, Fluttermain does not like SCIZOR at all, which I think makes a lot of sense in the grand scheme of things. You just bullet punch it over and over and over, and you don't have to worry about it, which I think is really, really good. On top of that, Glomora has seen a rise in use, and Glomora does not take a bullet punch well at all either. So another Pokemon that does really well. And on top of that, SCIZOR is a steel type, which means that you can just go out there with SCIZOR and you can take a Mortal Spin and not get poisoned, which is absolutely huge for this particular Pokemon. So very nice into the Glomora counterplay as well. On the topic of teammates that this Pokemon likes to have with it, Chen-Pao is one that obviously just makes sense. In the grand scheme of things, Chen-Pao just lowering the defense of the opposing Pokemon, allowing SCIZOR to get out there and do big damage is absolutely huge for this Pokemon. And I really, really like Chen-Pao next to it. It makes a lot of sense. Again, I talked earlier about the Helping Hand set. Having a Dragonite with a normal Terra typing on it, where's normal, there it is, and extreme speed is really nice for SCIZOR with a Helping Hand, because you're able to just go out there and just go ahead and Helping Hand Dragonite a bunch, and Dragonite can just do massive damage with its extreme speeds, especially if it's a Choice Band variant. Just really solid Pokemon into a lot of things right now. So like Dragonite has been good this entire time in Scarlet and Violet. Pairing it next to a SCIZOR is really, really solid. Palafin has a similar effect where if you just want a Helping Hand and get big jet punches off, you can do that. So I think SCIZOR is really solid in that regard as well. If you consider the fact also that SCIZOR doesn't like fire type damage that much, having it on a Palafin team makes a lot of sense next to like a Pelipper with Rain. It makes a ton of sense to just avoid massive damage, and I really, really like it for that reason. Other Pokemon that are good, anything that doesn't like taking fairy damage obviously is really nice. So like any dragon types you might be running, rotating SCIZOR into a dragon type attack is fantastic, but also anything that takes a steel type attack very poorly, like Fluttermain. Fluttermain hates taking steel type damage. You can rotate in SCIZOR and take the hit for it. It's just a fantastic option for this particular Pokemon. So there's a lot you could do with SCIZOR that just makes a lot of sense. I think it's just a really good bring. However, we have to talk about Pokemon that SCIZOR has to be afraid of, because there are Pokemon like that in the format right now, and you do need to be aware of them. First and foremost, Arcanine. Arcanine's not going anywhere. Arcanine is a great Intimidate setter. You need to be aware that Arcanine is going to come out and it's going to Flare Blitz you, and it's going to suck. So if you need to preserve your Terra for that matchup, please do so. Water Terra is great for that reason. Obviously, you can get burnt. You can protect it away, see if they're going to go for the burn, and then plan your next move accordingly. But Arcanine is going to be a huge threat into this. Chiu. Again, if you don't have your Terra, Chiu is a problem. Chiu is still a problem for SCIZOR just because, you know, your special defense isn't amazing. So having it dropped is not exactly great. You don't want to have your special defense dropped. So Chiu, for that reason, is still a very good bring into a SCIZOR, even with the Water Terra typing on it, but also just having Heat Wave available to you, making you force a Terra onto SCIZOR is a problem. Torkel is another one. I still think we're going to see Lilycole pop up here and there because Lilycole is very fun. It won Vancouver, you know, so I think it's definitely something you're going to see a lot of still popping up next to Chiu especially. I think that is something you need to be aware of for this particular Pokemon. The SCIZOR all around, I think, is a fantastic bring this format. I definitely want to try and work it onto a team to some capacity myself once I get back from Fort Wayne, because I think it's going to be a really fun Pokemon to use in the format. I'm honestly expecting to see a fair few of them going into Fort Wayne, so it's definitely something that I need to be watching for and be aware of. So definitely a Pokemon that I need to be cautious of for sure. But that is going to be it for this video, guys. I hope you all enjoyed it. And if you did, leave a like and subscribe for more videos like this in the future. Be sure to check out the Discord where people over there hanging out, having a great time playing Pokemon. Also, check out any of these videos on screen. I recorded a bunch of videos because I was leaving for Fort Wayne, and I don't know when any of them are actually going up. I've kind of just put them up in random order based on what's going on. Like the Samurott raids got announced, so I had to get a video up on that. So check out whatever videos on screen. There's a ton of new VGC stuff coming very soon as well, because Regulation C is really changing a lot in the format. I've seen a lot of Pokemon that I didn't previously see start popping up, and I think it's really fun to see these adaptations. Personally, I'm not as big a fan of this format as I was of Regulation B, simply because of the fact that the Ruined Pokemon are absolutely nasty. They are foul, and they really are just so overpowered. Like the Zacian came and you're like, nothing can get better than me, and then the Ruined Pokemon came along and said, hold my beer. So definitely an interesting new format to play in. I'm curious to see what we see at Fort Wayne because it's so new. Everybody's trying to figure it out, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. But until next time, peace.